What a win. It was superb. Superb performance today from the boys. Listen, you can't knock Potter today. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's been knocking Potter. I've been knocking Potter. Looked like he was a dead man walking. But when you look at the performance today, he changed everything. Everything changed in that midfield. He played Ward-Prowse and Souček, which was a little bit, you know, we didn't know what sort of formation was coming in. We knew we was coming in with a 4 at the back, which was brave from Potter because obviously he's so used to playing his 5 at the back. He dropped to Debo. He dropped Aguirre, who obviously didn't travel today, so Mavropanos had to come in. And he went with the right and the left back. Walker Peters coming for Wan-Bissaka. That's another big call. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's, you know, Wan-Bissaka's our hammer of the year. He wasn't great in the game against Chelsea. And I thought Walker Peters was good in the game against Wolves, even though, you know, obviously the result. And there was big calls from him. And Fernandes comes in. You're expecting a 4, like a diamond midfield. But what we saw is Fulkrug went up top, Bowen went out on the right, and Fernandes went out on the left. I think Fernandes went out on the left just to get his debut. He loves Ward-Prowse, and Ward-Prowse can do no wrong in his eyes. So I respect that. I respect what he's done there. But we started the game. Listen, it wasn't a great start. We had a real lack of movement up front. Fulkrug, I think, struggled in the game. I'm going to be honest with you. He looked like he there wasn't no mobility up there. I don't know whether he just couldn't get to the ball. He could not get into the places where he needed to be, and he really struggled. The passing was lapsed at times. We was giving the ball away needlessly and giving the ball back to Forest to pile pressure on us. But what Forest done today is that they expected us to be so bad at crosses. You can see it early on. They was targeting Manson. They was targeting crosses. Obviously, Chris Wood, we thought he was going to have a field day today. And as soon as you saw, and I think Chris Wood was at Burnley at the time when this was happening. He definitely was because he scored. But you know, they done the sort of Roberto tactics where every corner they was crowding out. They was crowding out the goalkeeper and hoping that he's going to go there and flap it and drop it. You know, just like we did at Chelsea. But the defending from corners today was so much better. It was like chalk and cheese. Mavropanos, they've done a few Mavropanos things, but I think to a man, everyone played their part today, and he was a big part of it. And as I said before, he needed to get underneath the ball, he needed to head the ball away, and that's exactly what he did. And then you saw Fernandes, and Fernandes was full of energy. You know, we were seeing something that we hadn't had in a long time, and that was someone pressing from the front. It was someone getting in amongst the midfield. It was someone putting their foot in every now and then. And then you started to think to yourself, do you know what? That is it. That is the energy. And we've been saying this for a long time. You know, that the midfielders lacked a big energy in there. And, Paquetá was sort of cooking in the first half. It wasn't fantastic, but it definitely wasn't bad by any long shot of imagination. Then we come out in the second half. And then we started to, you see it, we started to get on top a little bit. You know, we rode the challenges, we rode the the little bit of Forest pressure, as you thought there was going to be at the City ground. They're beside Forest, they're no mugs. And we read a little bit of the Norwich Forest pressure, and we started to make chances of our own. And then all of a sudden, we had probably the best 2 chances in the game. I think the first half it was it was Paquetá. Thank you. It was Paquetá. It was Paquetá that had the first shot, which was greatly saved. And then all of a sudden, Callum Wilson came on, and Callum Wilson was full of running. You know, he give West Ham a different dimension than Fulkrug give, and he was making his own chances. And that, my friends, and I know he's injury prone, and I know we've got to keep him fit, and I know he's a little bit long in the tooth now, but that is what we've not had in a long time. Someone who all of a sudden can create their own chances. He was getting in the box, clever movement in the box, you know, getting off them shots, a little snapshot from Fulkrug in the first half before he came off. Give us a little bit of confidence. And then as Wilson come on, he was carving his own chances out, and he nearly caught the keeper out a couple of times, and that was superb. And then all of a sudden, I've got to say this, and I'm not slagging Ward-Prowse off tonight because I thought Ward-Prowse done his job, but Ward-Prowse come off, Andy Irving come on, And I was a little bit confused at the front at the time, because I thought to myself, like, it's not Irving's a little bit of a funny character. It looks like he might be moving on tomorrow, which is the the rumours. And we brought him on, and all of a sudden we started to control the midfield, which we haven't seen in a long time. We started to get some confidence. We started to get a little bit of energy about us. And then when he brought on Somerville, it was a surprise to see Somerville back on the bench today. But all of a sudden we were cooking, and every time we went forward, we looked like scoring. And City were absolutely bricking it. Then we get the first goal, Bowen with a lovely finish, lovely, like, instinctive finish, edge of the box, puts it right in the bottom corner, keeper's got no chance. And then from there, we could not stop. It was like watching Brazil at times. We was knocking the ball about. Lucas Paquetá in the second half. In fact, I thought in the first half, he fought for every ball. And obviously there's been rumours about that he wasn't going to travel and he wanted out of the squad. And, and there was a lot of rumours about people booing him at the beginning of the game, which obviously you don't want to do. You don't want to be going into a game against, someone like Forest and be booing someone like Lucas Paquetá if he's playing. But we see him in the starting lineup, and what a game he had. He was everywhere. He was tracking back, he was making challenges, he was running the midfield, he was doing everything that Lucas Paquetá, and he looked back to his best again. He was causing all sorts of chaos. And then as we grew in confidence, you just see the quality come out of us, And listen, going up against that defence is no fucking it's no mean feat, as you say. It's they're a fucking well organised side, Nottingham Forest, and in the end we just picked them apart. First one goes in, a minute later or 2 minutes later we've got a penalty. Somerville coming in, showing his pace, absolutely exposing that right back spot, that left wing spot, runs into the box, gets tripped. I don't even know what they were checking for. No, not even a question of whether it's a penalty or not. It was a penalty, full stop. They delayed it. Paquetá steps up, as Paquetá does, slots it away. He's always a bit nervy on the run up, makes me a bit nervous. And then all of a sudden you get the ball and you're starting to think to yourself, what the fuck? And then obviously there was a medical emergency in the first half. I don't know whether a lot of people would see this on the TV, but they had to stop the game for a little while because there was a medical emergency. Now, obviously we was all waving over to the EMTs to get over to the Forest End as well, and whoever that was, I wish them a speedy recovery. I hope everything's okay. Nobody wants to see that out of football. So there was 9 minutes added on time, and then you start to get a bit nervy. You start to think, fucking hell, like, one goes in here. But we never once, not once, did we look like conceding again. Conceding at all against that Forest side. We looked in control. We looked like we was well organised in defence. We looked like the midfield were running things. The midfield were not nervous. They was, sort of flicking the ball around between each other, allay. And then we didn't rest on our laurels. We went for another one, which we got. What a header from Wilson, who carved out 3 or 4 chances in the time he was on, in that 30 minutes he was on. He looks like he's going to be a player for us, very important player. And then after that, there was his run. I don't know why Bowen passed it, to be honest with you, because Bowen ran around the entire length of the pitch. He ran up against all the defenders. He took the defenders on in the box, and then he tried to square it to Wilson so he can get another goal. He should have just took it on himself. It would have been the goal of the season, I think, for us especially. But listen, it was controlled. It was confident. We looked good. We looked like a team. We looked like we got some, energy in there. Obviously, the transfer window's tomorrow. But when Lucas Paquetá stepped up and got his penalty, I think the most important thing was he basically turned around and went, "I'm not going anywhere. I've put the phone down on Aston Villa. I'm not leaving." So, listen, superb from him, superb from West Ham, superb from Potter, superb from the fans, and it's been such a contrast against what we've seen in the last few games. And the future looks bright. And Magassa's going to come in and bring more energy into the midfield. Hopefully another centre-back. Aguirre's going. There's rumours about Aguirre. I will address them on Monday, I think, in the phone-in. Or Tuesday in the phone-in. But Aguirre's going to be going. Apparently we're getting Cresswell in as a replacement, not that Cresswell, a different Cresswell. And hopefully we can get some energy in this team, and maybe just maybe Potter is just what he needed, and he can start to make his own team. But what do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Superb win for West Ham, superb performance, superb from the manager, superb from all the players, superb from the fans, and a superb day. But thank you very much. One thing left to say, come on you Iron.